So here we go. All right.
I'm audible.
Let's see.
Is my thing supposed to be having a green bar that I can't see?
I'm not sure. Well, real quick, for anybody who may be watching this is our first time doing this, so we might have some technical difficulties. But let's test this out. What?
We need a name.
We do need a name. For right now, we're just doing it on my channel. So, I'm Matt. This is Devin. And that's Travis.
I hope you can hear me.
We're going to find out real soon.
How do we find out?
Feedback loops.
We're going to delete this one because this one's going to be a test. We're going to find out real soon.
How do we find out?
Feedback.
They can hear you. Do y'all want to delete this one, or do y'all just want to keep going?
Let's just go.
No, screw it. This is just fun.
Okay. Like Travis said, this is just fun. Let me tell y'all what we're doing here. We are getting together. We are reading the majority. Eventually, maybe we'll get around to reading all of the comic books that Marvel produces in a week. We are going to read them, we're going to summarize them, and then we'll throw the information out there so that viewers like us can catch up with the entire Marvel Universe and not have to read 20 books a week. I think each of us this week read about 4 or 5 books. And that wasn't even everything. We skipped a lot of the Avengers.
Wasn't even half of it.
No, this week it was more than half of it.
Okay.
But so that's the idea. We want to read as much as possible and get a good collective idea of everything that's going on in the Marvel superhero universe. So that way we have this easy entry point for people. One of the hardest parts of getting into comics for people is knowing where to begin or what's going on. And then you'll start reading Spider-Man, and they talk about things going on in Iron Man or Captain America, and it just gets really confusing.
And expensive.
And expensive. That's the other thing. $4 a book, 20 books a week, right? So I'm gonna be real honest about this. None of us are experts on this. I'll introduce myself first. Like I said, I'm Matt. Me and Travis are brothers. We grew up in what I like to call a Marvel household. We watched all the 90s TV shows. I read a few Marvel comic books back in the day, but I've really only started picking up recently. Travis, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself next?
Hi, I'm Travis. I keep looking over here because this is where my Batman collection of things is. Matt said that we're a Marvel household, but I've always been very much so a Batman fan.
That's true.
But I do like Spider-Man, and I think that's where I'm going to be starting tonight.
Yeah. Real quick, Devin, you want to give a shout out and whatnot?
Do I need to be close to the mic, or am I okay?
No, they can hear you just fine, bro.
Okay, cool. My name is Devin. I've been into comic books for about a year.
Yeah.
No, I read a little bit in high school. I'd borrow one of Matt's
trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
Civil War was going on. Yeah. The original Civil War, not last year's.
I know, right? So anyway, currently I'm more of a DC guy myself, but branching into the Marvel cosmic arena. That's where I'm going to be focusing on. So anything Guardians, anything Silver Surfer or Thanos, that's what I'm going to try to cover for this.
Big Purple Helmet Man?
Yeah.
Galactus. I think he's in 1 or 2 things right now. And we're going to talk about Galactus today, actually. It's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, so that's kind of the idea here. At first, it's just the 3 of us. We might pick up other people here and there. Like Devin said, he's going to be
my wife will be joining us.
That's true.
But she's only going to be reading Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
she has a man crush on Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes. She'll be covering kind of the mystic side. I will be covering the advanced humans, so X-Men and Inhumans. You'll be covering Cosmic, and Travis will be covering the Spider family. Yeah. So that's kind of what we've got planned out, but we're just going to enjoy this. We're not making any promises. We're going to have fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy it too. with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down some of these comic books. This week, we have a whole slew of stuff. We are going to cover the first issue of Secret Empire, but we're going to save that for last. We are going to begin with Travis. Travis, go ahead and let's introduce some of your Spider-Man books. What do you want to talk about first, Travis?
Let's open with Spider-Man, Miles Morales.
Sure thing. I'll give you the cover right here, and tell us what's happening.
It's a pretty cool cover. When I first saw it, I thought there was going to be some sort of bus accident. He was going to be saving a kid. No.
No, a lot of the was a good thing to learn early on. A lot of the cover arts had nothing to do with the stories, but they're great.
Yeah. Anyway, so when this one started off, this is number 16, so we're really in media res.
A year and a half in, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the front blurb explains to me that he has, over the time of being Spider-Man, explained to his best friend named, I'm gonna guess that's Ganke? Ganke. Ganke. I don't know. Gank? Ganke? I'm gonna go with Ganke. Gank makes me...
Your guess is as good as ours, to be honest.
Makes me feel like we're talking about League.
I know, right?
He's told Ganke about it, and his father, whose name is Jefferson. We don't see Jefferson in this issue. And then also another one of his friends, Fabio Medina, who it sounds like he's an X-Man, or he's some sort of mutant, and he goes by the name Goldball.
Yes,
No,
yes, I knew who that was the moment you said it. I'm the big X-Men fan. Sorry, my screen is shaking.
It's okay.
I'm the big X-Men fan, and you said Fabio, and I was like, I know Goldballs, and I'm glad you said that.
I meant to Google Goldballs or Fabio Medina, but Matthew can tell us he's an X-Man, actually?
Kinda. He's a mutant, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is a mutant. Anyway, so it's established that they all know that he is Spider-Man. They are his support net.
Okay.
Like Peter never had. Well, I don't want to say never.
Yeah, sometimes.
In the beginning, Peter didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So his mother, whose name is Rio, did not know.
Mm-hmm.
And very recently, he's come back from a time-skipping, universe-jumping adventure. That's what we just missed.
Okay.
And he was just gone for a long time. And his mom's like, what the hell's going on? When he finally gets back, he confronts her and says, yeah, I'm the Spider-Man. She gets mad and leaves. So she's left Miles and his father, Jefferson.
Okay.
That's where it picks up. Well, at least that's where the last issue left off.
So
this comic.
And then this one picks up from there. Yeah.
Yes. Well, this comic picks up on a side part. It opens with a bunch of thugs in a warehouse playing cards, and Hammerhead breaks through the walls along with Black Cat. They're obviously supervillains. They're doing the bad stuff, and they begin to threaten these little thugs, and they're like, we don't own this place. And she says, yes, I know. She refers to the owner as the mysterious Mr. D, who I hope to learn more about. I'm sure previously Spider-Man has encountered mysterious Mr. D, or he's brand new. Who knows? They burn his warehouse to the ground and declare war on him. So there are two warring supervillain factions from the looks of it. We don't get much there before we jump back to Miles, and he's having a meeting with his mother where he's discussing why he never told her. Things don't go well. She ends up running away crying, and he loses her in a crowd.
Okay.
So he's really upset that, he couldn't, smooth things over with his mother. So he decides to go out and blow off some steam. He goes web swinging. And
Hell yeah.
He ends up... What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, sorry.
Hell yeah.
He ends up chasing down a purse snatcher, and in the process beats up an entire bar's worth of people.
Okay.
And there's sort of a cliffhanger with him where he realizes the damage he's done, and he's like, uh-oh. But to close the issue off, it jumps back to his buddy Ganke, who's talking to a reporter about all the stuff he knows about Spider-Man.
All
And
the
he's
stuff?
trying to be elusive about it, but she knows that he knows more than he's letting on. And then eventually, him and the reporter have like a kiss, and then that's the end of it. So,
Smooches.
the question is she actually interested in him, or is she just
Trying to get a scoop.
giving him that? Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Devin. He nailed it on the head.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much everything that goes down in there.
So all Spider-Man did was just beat up some purse snatchers.
Yeah, pretty much.
So low action, but still.
Yeah, very little action. A lot of drama in this issue. But I mean, it feels like this issue is like there's been a lot of action leading up to it, and then there's a little bit of a cool down.
Yeah.
And they're going to build back up because I feel like this reporter might get her nose in things that she shouldn't, and then Miles is going to get upset, and then people are going to find out it's him, and they're going to come for him, and I don't know, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Before we move on to the next book, I want to apologize if my computer beeps and dings during all of this because this is brand new to me. I've streamed a little bit, but I usually don't do anything trying to do something on purpose. So, all right, Travis, what do you want to cover next?
All right, let's head to Ben Reilly next.
That
one was interesting.
Now, this wasn't from this week, but last week was number 1. So before whatever next week or the one after, whenever number 2 comes out, you just wanted to go ahead and get this one covered.
Yeah, that way we have
from the beginning. Thing. Yeah.
I think other than Secret Empire, I think this is the closest one that we will be starting with.
All of the X-Men books are really early on right now because they just did a huge revamp. But I'll talk about... Guardians just started. Yeah, we got a lot of number 1s.
There's been a couple of them that we're fresh into.
Yeah, this is a really good time to get into it because there are a lot of number 1s. Those are really easy for people to pick up off the shelves.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you timed this perfectly, dude.
I know.
Cool.
All right, so let's talk about Ben Reilly.
Because this is the only one of mine that's anywhere near the beginning.
That's true. Spidey's...
you got your work cut out for you.
All right.
Okay, so if you don't know anything about Ben Reilly is a clone of Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man. He calls himself Ben Reilly because Ben is Uncle Ben, and Reilly is Aunt May's maiden name.
I didn't know that. That's cool. Learning stuff already.
So he has all of the memories of Peter Parker, plus all of the memories of himself. Well, all of the memories of Peter Parker up to a point. Because that's when he was made. Out of Peter Parker's DNA. He is a clone of Parker. There were a lot of them. I think they called it like the Spider Wars. They didn't call it the Clone Wars.
Was that Spider Island or...
Yes, it was. It was Spider Island.
Yeah, I didn't read any of it, but I remember the arc.
Yeah, anyway, so there are a lot of clones, all by this man named the Jackal, who... I think is dead? I don't know. Because the really confusing part is, after he either is killed or disappears, Ben Reilly starts going around calling himself the Jackal. And he, this is all background.
Okay, yeah.
And Peter Parker ends up finding out that he's cloning people. He's going out finding people with terminal illnesses that are about to die. He clones them without the illness. Then he lets the actual ill person pass away and replaces them with his clone.
Okay.
That's what he's been doing as the Jackal.
Wait, Ben Reilly's been doing that?
That's what Ben Reilly has been doing under the guise of the Jackal.
Okay.
Anyway, so this comic book picks up and it explains some of that, and that Ben Reilly is assumed dead. So he's moved to Las Vegas because he's got to get out of New York because Parker is the resident web swinger there.
Yeah.
It opens up with him hanging off the Statue of Liberty, which makes you think he's in New York, but he's hanging off the Statue of Liberty on top of New York,
New York, yeah.
which is kind of funny. But in the beginning, he's hallucinating the old Ben Reilly. Like the one that you see on the comic book. I guess I should be pointing that way. On the comic book with the jacket and the funny little bracers and whatnot.
It's backwards for me.
Yeah, I know. Me too. We're flipped.
We'll figure it out one day.
He's hallucinating that guy who's acting like the old Ben Reilly. Very, very Spider-Man-esque. Very, all for the justice. And he pretty much ignores all of his suggestions and goes off and does his own thing. He saves a woman from being mugged, which makes him feel like Spider-Man. But then he charges her $100.
What?
Yeah.
You gotta pay rent.
So things are a little funny. Then he makes it back to his hotel room. Actually, exactly. He talks about needing to pay rent at some point. But he makes it back to his hotel room, and he starts hallucinating the Jackal version of himself. Starts trying to get him to go back to doing what he was doing when he was the Jackal. And he doesn't get along well with that one either. Because he seems to sort of be in the middle.
Okay.
Like a gray area versus the good Ben Reilly and the evil Jackal. He's also now calling himself the Scarlet Spider, hence the Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider title.
Yeah.
From there, he goes off and he goes into a casino, and he finds this old lady named June, and he mentions how her name sounds very close to May, and he says that she'll have to do. So he doesn't really seem mentally stable.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I kind of caught on to that.
There we are, yeah. And whenever he finds June, he rescues a bunch of people from robbers trying to rob the casino. Him and what looks like the casino guard, he goes by the name of Slate. Slate takes a bunch of bullets to the face and then laughs about it. Because he seems to have hard skin. Maybe that's why he calls himself Slate.
Sure.
Anyway, Slate says, you need to meet my employer, who is a Cassandra Mercury. She owns the casino.
Okay.
If you've been following Ben Reilly, you'll know that he did that cloning thing with her daughter.
Okay.
The only thing I know is it didn't go so well. She found out about it. I think maybe the daughter ended up dying anyway. Because she's very mad at him. Recognizes his voice, puts a gun on him, and the comic book ends right there with her pointing a gun at him.
Okay.
Somewhere in the middle, a man who calls himself Kane is hunting him down. Now, I have to assume that this is the Kane who is the Scarlet Spider of Houston or Austin, Texas. I don't know, one of the Texas cities.
Yeah.
That was an arc back in 2011.
Yeah.
Because he's got the same facial scars. He is a clone of Peter Parker. All the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So the confusing part is, where does this fit in that old story?
I don't know. That's a good point.
But we'll have to find out.
Yeah, we have a mentally unstable Spider-Man, which is probably
being chased by a very angry Spider-Man.
Which is probably a good segue to a Spider-Man crossed over with a mentally insane person, huh?
Yeah, sure, we can do that. So, Spider-Man / Deadpool. I'll let Devin start since he was reading this.
You've read some of it?
In the beginning.
Yeah, I think I read up to issue 14 or 15. Yeah, that girl there on the cover is, if I remember correctly, it's been a few weeks. She's like a clone of Spider-Man. And she's like literally half Spider-Man, half Deadpool. And it was like a weird sexual attraction. Like she keeps calling him daddy in very provocative ways. I think she wants to kill them, but also wants to, have her spidery way with them, which is weird because they're kind of related or something.
It was kind of weird.
And I think she was created to be able to kill them by... I don't remember. Did you...
His name.
I'm going to step away a moment, but you guys keep talking.
Okay.
I forgot his name. He does say in the front of the book who created her.
I don't remember.
His name was
Was
Patient Zero.
Is that the guy who had hired Deadpool to kill Peter?
I don't know. All I know is that this book says that the man who created her, his name is Patient Zero. He's a mad scientist. It says that too, but
wait,
created
is
a life, so
that?
he's a mad scientist.
Yeah, it's. I don't remember. I don't know, man. So what happened in this issue then?
So in this issue, I'm sorry. One of my cats came out. I just saw her.
Oh,
anyway, in this issue, it seems to be a lot about the duality of Wade, Deadpool. He is a mercenary. He murders people. That's what he does. And he's been spending a lot of time with Peter Parker, who doesn't murder anybody.
Yeah, well, that's like a theme of the whole series, is him trying to be a better person. Like, he actually wants to try to reform himself.
Exactly. Peter Parker, who's, all about never kill, always capture and bring to jail. Well, the problem is at this point, Wade, or Deadpool, is super into capturing her and imprisoning her. And Peter is like, I'm done with this. I want her dead.
Okay, yeah, kind of little role reversal.
Exactly. So that's what it feels like is going on right now, and she keeps trying to get Peter to kill her.
Really? She has a death wish now?
That to happen. And I feel like all she wants is for Spider-Man to fall.
Okay. Oh, you want to say?
Yeah, just so I can get to my water.
Okay.
So
super unprofessional, guys.
With them capturing her in some weird green portal. I don't entirely understand what it was. And Spider-Man says, no, I'm going to go and I'm going to kill her. And Deadpool's like, no, you can't. You can't do that. We're better than that. And then it ends with the two of them starting to fight.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. And it also says at the bottom, it says, it doesn't say to be continued, it said to be concluded. So I think it's only got one more.
That's
issue.
cool. I need to just finish the series, and I came this far. I didn't realize it was going to be this short.
And
yeah.
So that
this one was 17? Yeah, so 18. We'll have 18 issues. That's a year and a half. Mm-hmm. That's a decent run.
And that's a good segue to something that you can do. I don't know how kosher Marvel is with sharing stuff, but every single Marvel comic book comes with a little digital comic extra bit that you can download online. So if Travis wanted to give somebody else the digital code, then Devin could read the 2 or 3 that Travis buys. So I don't know. It's a cool little
might not want to say that
extra thing. I don't know. It's the same as here, Devin, read my comic book.
The technology exists. Why not use it?
Yeah.
It's an idea, a way that you can share your stuff with your friends, whether they live here in Louisiana with me or in Pennsylvania with Travis. We didn't mention that. Me and Devin are sitting in the same room, but the reason Travis isn't here is because he doesn't live here.
Or is it because we don't live there?
It's mainly because he doesn't live here. All right, Travis, do you have any other ones?
Spider-Gwen. I keep trying to say Gwen Spider.
Gwen Spider.
Spider-Gwen. I read that one. That one is very interesting.
Okay, so...
And once again, has a lot of history to talk about.
I was about to say, I need some, because I don't know who or what
Spider-Gwen
is.
So now this one has nothing to do with Marvel 616, like the regular universe, right?
Correct.
Really?
This is... Hang on one sec, darn it.
It's like it takes place somewhere else?
It's an entirely different universe, and it says they call it Earth GS. So I think that's Earth
Gwen Spider. Gwen Stacy.
Maybe.
That makes a lot more sense. Listen to him, not me.
Is that actually Gwen Stacy, but just in a different universe?
Spider-Gwen is Gwendolyn Stacy. So in the very beginning of the story, Gwen Stacy is bit by a radioactive spider and not Peter Parker.
Yeah.
She gains all of the spider powers, and he does not.
Is Peter Parker, like, even in the universe?
For a little while.
Is he just kind of a nobody?
Well, no,
Probably a brilliant scientist or something.
no. Do you remember what happened to Gwen Stacy in Peter Parker's story?
Yes.
She died or something?
This world has a lot of parallels.
Oh,
Cool.
So Peter just die?
Peter dies because she can't save him.
Okay.
So he becomes the Lizard. You remember Kurt Connors became the Lizard in Peter Parker's world.
Yeah.
But Kurt Connors, well, it is Kurt Connors, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Kurt Connors.
The lizard.
The Lizard. He is actually a science teacher at their high school and teaches Peter how to become a lizard because Peter wants to get vengeance on the people who teased him because, he's a nerd.
Yeah.
Well, what he doesn't know is that
psychotic.
the spider formula isn't quite stable and it ends up killing him.
Ah.
Gwen is trying her best to find like an an anti-lizard thing and fix him back.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it in time. He dies. Everyone blames her. Well, not her. Gwen Stacy.
Spider-Gwen. Spider-Woman.
Everyone blames Spider-Woman for murdering Peter Parker. So
Interesting.
she is a wanted criminal
Ooh.
by the police.
Interesting.
So here are some more fun parallels. Harry, after Peter died, wants to get revenge on the Spider-Woman. He
Naturally.
becomes the Lizard next.
It's all the lizard. Why the lizard?
I don't know. And we've got to have
Lizards and
more
spiders.
weird parallels. Guess who the Kingpin is? Because it's not...
It's not Wilson Fisk.
Thank you, I forgot Wilson Fisk's
Aunt
name.
May.
What?
Aunt May.
That would be hilarious. No. Who just... It's Matt Murdock.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Matt
Okay.
Murdock is the Kingpin.
That's kind of
He's got
silly.
He has a legion of ninjas who come and do ninja things for him.
The hand, yeah.
Yes.
He I don't know exactly where they are in Daredevil right now, but I do know that Matt Murdock for a while was a bad guy and was actually the leader of the hand.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, so Matt Murdock is the Kingpin, and he has Gwen and her father, who is in prison right now, under his thumb. And Norman Osborn, I'm not 100% sure, but the context makes it seem like he works with S.H.I.E.L.D. So all the good guys are bad guys, and all the bad guys are good guys.
That's fine.
If you died, you're Spider-Man, and if you were Spider-Man, you're dead.
I want to say back in like 2008 or something, Norman Osborn was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. I could be
That's
wrong.
hilarious.
I could be wrong about that, but I remember there was this arc of Iron Man comics that it was called Iron Man, Director of S.H.I.E.L.D. But then, like, something happened, and
I vaguely remember that.
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so the other big important piece of information in this is Norman and Gwen, or Spider-Woman, are trying to save Harry from Peter's fate.
Wait, is
They
this
don't
the
want
issue
him to
you
die.
read that you're talking
What?
about?
Yeah, well, I guess
Are you talking
is
about
this
issue-
still leading up to the issue that you read?
Oh, no, this is the issue. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I forgot
Okay.
to say that. So
That's all right.
they're trying to save Harry. They're trying to save Harry from the same fate that Peter fell.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Matt Murdock is extorting them by saying he has a cure. You have to do what I want. I mean, I'll give it to you if you do what I want. So he's trying to use Spider-Woman as a weapon, but to pay for that service, he says he has a cure for Harry. Now, the cure is what they keep calling a venom.
Oh gosh.
It's this black goop that turned a rat into a terrifying creature in front of everyone. And apparently this will fix him. You don't know.
Sorry for background noise if y'all hear that.
It's fine. Or you're talking about them, not me.
No, my
I was making a joke. So not a lot happens in this issue. There's a whole lot of talking.
He didn't even want to drink it. He just wanted to squeeze it on the floor.
Except for the introduction of the Venom.
Yeah.
Which is treated less like an alien creature and a science experiment that was created by playing with alien DNA.
Interesting.
By
Still pretty clever.
a doctor whose name I've forgotten. I'm gonna have to look in the comic again real quick.
Oh, yeah.
It was a lady doctor, and I can't remember her name. Doc Brock.
Sounds
Sounds
So
familiar.
it's supposed to be like Eddie Brock.
Except
Yeah.
it's apparently a woman, because what was her first name? They said it at some point.
Hope it starts with an E.
That would be pretty funny.
Edwina.
Must be Evelyn. No, I'm kidding. Hang on, I can't find it.
Elizabeth.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Alright, well, I don't know.
Yeah. So, definitely leading to the Venom coming there.
That's pretty great.
That sounds good. Alternate universes are not...
Elsa Brock.
Elsa.
Elsa, yeah, I told you it's all with an E.
Yeah.
Yep. Elsa Brock.
Alternate universes aren't necessarily going to be super important to this story-driven
It
thing
sounds
that we're
like fun,
doing,
though.
but it does sound
But
like
I
fun.
like this one, so
Yeah.
I'm going to keep talking about it.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
So, other alternate universe that we're not going to cover this week, but did come out this week, is Spider-Man 2099.
That's another universe.
Oh, is it another universe or like a timeline or something?
I think it's just the future. I'm pretty sure it's the same universe, just the future.
Like what happens in the universe 616, whatever the standard universe is.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure yet. That's the problem. I had a lot of back reading to do to understand what I was reading
Yeah.
that I didn't catch up to read this one.
Yeah.
So I will probably be covering this one
Next
week.
Okay.
Then, when 2099 comes out again, I'll have caught up and I won't have to push it back another week.
Okay, cool.
So I feel like I've talked for a really long time.
That's all right. That's all
And
right.
I gotta pass to, who's next?
I'll take up there. I'll do some X-Men stuff.
And you won't have as much background to do since we're starting at like issue 1 or issue 2.
Yeah, I can talk. I can talk a little bit of background, but I'll try and limit it. This is only issue 3 of XMen Gold. Right now, there are 2 major teams. There's XMen Gold and there's XMen Blue. Gold kind of follows the 90s superstars that we know. There's Kitty Pryde is the leader of the team, and we have Old Man Logan, not quite Wolverine. But then you have Nightcrawler and Colossus and Storm. Rachel Grey, who is not Jean Grey, but it's a confusing mess. X-Men's had a lot of ups and downs recently. They've had like back-to-back-to-back reboots constantly. But what this team is doing, this team is, in the last couple issues, the school, some way or another, has transported into the middle of the Central Park in New York. So the Xavier
That's
School is smack dab in the middle of Central Park right now, and Kitty is leading the school. And in the first issue, the Evil Brotherhood of Mutants, they actually call themselves the Evil Brotherhood of Mutants, attacks. The second issue is sort of them trying to figure out what's going on. It turns out the mayor has been captured. So that's all the background you really need to catch up on this issue.
The mayor of New York?
The mayor of New York was captured.
By who? Or we don't know.
By this Evil Brotherhood of
Okay,
Mutants.
okay.
Yeah. So he's been kidnapped and he's being held. The final panel of issue 2 shows Wolverine sitting there with beat up members of the Brotherhood laying on the ground, and he says, "Hey, like, I've got an address for you." So then the story...
I thought you said like it wasn't Wolverine, but Old Man.
It's Old Man Logan. If
But
I
is
say...
he wearing his yellow tights? But
No. He's wearing the... and you can kind of see it on the cover picture there. He's wearing brown duster jacket and white t-shirt and that kind of stuff. I'll do a real quick recap on Old Man Logan, because I don't have an issue of that this week, but I will have an issue of Old Man Logan next week. Old Man Logan started as a miniseries in the middle of like 2008's Wolverine solo arc, and what it is Old Man Logan is a future version of Wolverine, where in this future timeline the supervillains took over, and the United States is run by the supervillains. Somehow, some way, in the past couple years, Old Man Logan was time displaced, and now he is back here in the present, and he's working with Kitty at the school. So Old Man Logan actually gets mind controlled by Mesmero, and there's all sorts of fighting once everybody arrives at the location. This is once again back to the current issue 3. There's a lot of fighting. I think Colossus has to go fight with this new evil Brotherhood mutant, and Armor, who is a lesser known mutant, actually knocks out Logan while he's under mind control. But the whole thing with Mesmero, the whole thing with this evil Brotherhood of Mutants just doesn't seem right to them. So whenever Rachel Gray, who's a telepath, whenever she figures out what's going on, she beats Mesmero in a little telepath battle, and figures out that the whole thing was a setup. In the first couple issues, they pointed at this kind of television host lady. Her name is Miss Nance, and Nance is spouting this anti-mutant rhetoric, and she paid off Mesmero to put together this band of evil mutants and attack to make mutants look bad. And Kitty and the others, they bamf in. Nightcrawler's on the team, so there you go.
So they bamf in?
They bamf. B-A-M-F.
That's a verb, I like it.
Yeah, that's the official verb and sound of teleporting when it comes to Nightcrawler and other Nightcrawler-esque teleporters. But they bamf in, and they pop up, and they confront her about it. She basically tells them, y'all don't have any evidence to prove that it was me, so good luck with that. And they kind of threaten her and say, knock it off. And they leave. And we'll kind of see how that plays out. But that's what happened in XMen Gold number 3. It was kind of a conclusion to a little fight that they had started in the past 2 issues, and then leading up to this Nance person is going to be a problem in the coming issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. And then the only other book for X-Men this week was the new standalone Jean Grey. Now this is issue 1. Jean Grey, and this is another silly time travel confusion. This Jean Grey is part of the original 5 X-Men. Back in 1963, whenever the X-Men first started, there were 5. It was her, Cyclops, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. Beast, from the present a few years ago, he went back in time, got the 5 of them from the 60s, and brought them to the present. There were all sorts of shenanigans and reasons why, but now these 5 mutants who make up the Blue team, which I'll talk about next week when I get X-Men Blue issue 3, these 5 mutants that make up the Blue team, they're stuck here. They can't get back to their own time. So, this is her standalone adventure. And Jean is having a lot of struggles because she's trying not to be the Jean Grey that was. The Jean Grey that was, and this is actually, they detail this throughout the first couple pages. They've got some really cool panels. She turned into the Phoenix, and then she went all evil, and then she died, and then she was cloned, and there was the whole Madeline Pryor incident. Look it up, it's really confusing. But this Jean is trying her best not to be that Jean. And I love this. So after she's talking about all of that, she hears some commotion outside, and sure enough, somebody is trying to rob an armored car, and it's the Wrecking Crew. If you haven't heard of the Wrecking Crew, they are this band of throwaway bad guys that will occasionally just pop up in any and every comic book. They're not like anybody's villain. They're just kind of this random team that they use as a throwaway gag, and it's a bunch of old construction workers that have super strength and super durability. One of them carries around a big wrecking ball, and yeah, they're the Wrecking Crew. It's silly. They all still wear super colorful costumes and the whole lot of it.
Are they time displaced too?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure they're just dumb, derpy bad guys that fit into all sorts of stuff. I picked up a random book like a few months ago, and they were in it. It was just a throwaway thing, like, oh look, here's the Wrecking Crew. Now that we're done with them, let's move on. And so the majority of the book is her. She had teleported off to Japan for breakfast with a little Bamf. It's a little demon-looking guy who's kind of like a mini Nightcrawler. Another confusing story, but just take it for what it is. So the entire story is her fending off the Wrecking Crew alone while she's waiting on the other 4 X-Men to arrive. She keeps getting these like nagging feelings in the back of her head, and eventually they cause her to lose to the Wrecking Crew, and she wakes up and she realizes what that nagging feeling was.
Wow.
I won't spoil the big old picture in the back, but it looks a lot like the cover right there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the final line of the book is the Phoenix is coming. So yeah, this is going to be her struggle with the Phoenix, where I think that the X-Men Blue story that she's in is going to be more of the team and the things they go through. This is going to cover her struggle and what she goes through.
Okay. I'd like to say this actually sounds really cool. I'm trying to actually make an effort to read comic books with well-written female characters, and if she's like struggling to change herself and her old habits, it might be worth actually looking into.
Yep.
And also, I mean, yeah, you don't want to show up, but this artwork is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and we'll move right along for the time's sake, and we'll let Devin talk about some Guardians, and I'll come back with my last book in a little bit. Devin, do you want to start off with All New?
Yeah, sure. Let me trade spots with you.
Yeah, sure thing.
So I could have these books in front of me on the table.
So Guardians had 3 separate books this week.
Oh yes, yeah, a lot of new content for 1 week. All of them are issue number 1. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, I know, right? Well, one of them is a standalone, so I guess maybe you don't want to call it issue 1.
But it
says number 1 on it, so whatever. Okay, all new Guardians of the Galaxy. Where's my note sheet? Hopefully I don't need it, because I read through this thing like 3 times. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to try not to just read through the book again. So it opens up, they're on just some planet. I don't know if it says what planet. That might be important. They're just, it looks like Coruscant from Star Wars. This is like a bustling metropolis. And these random looking derpy aliens are bragging about, oh, we have the best security in the galaxy. Nothing can penetrate us. If you have assets on our planet, you're safe. And then on page 2, maybe I shouldn't curse on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Galactus shows up. Yeah, Galactus, page 2. And then it turns out it's actually not Galactus. It's a spaceship shaped like Galactus.
It scare people into thinking it's Galactus so they flee so they could... I'm sorry.
Yes, exactly right. I mean, you guess it. It's a spaceship shaped like Galactus, and the Guardians burst out of it through this impenetrable vault that this guy was just bragging is the best safety place in the galaxy. So the Guardians burst in, to steal some little box that they've been hired to steal. Right now, they're just kind of guns for hire. I mean, they have a reputation for having saved the galaxy, or at least saved one planet before.
Yeah, right.
But now they're just kind of just trying to find odd jobs here and there. So they steal this little box and have to make their daring escape on their Galactus-shaped spaceship. Okay, some other things worth pointing out while they're making their escape. I want to find a picture, but Groot is adorable. All right, I like
Baby Groot.
Yes, Baby Groot. I like artwork. Look at him. He's just, I am Groot. Isn't he so cute? Okay, so anyway, something else. I didn't read any of the previous Guardians, and all I know about the Guardians before this is in the movie. But Drax is kind of a pacifist now. Like he wants to be all peaceful and not hurt anybody. Kind of reminds me of Karn from Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was this big badass, and now he's just like, I don't want to hurt people. But, we'll see. So, one other thing before they make their escape, where they're trying to get back to their ship, and you see these two aliens, like, literally about to have sex. And then they're like, wait a minute, I take it Galactus isn't about to destroy the planet then? Anyway.
The last thing you do on Earth. There you go.
Yep.
Except this isn't Earth.
Right. Okay. So anyway.
Your last night on Earth.
Yeah. Yep.
So this kind of sets up the Guardians as like space criminals, even though they're still sort of heroes.
Yeah. Basically.
That's good.
So they escape on the Galactus ship. They to try to meet, like, rendezvous with the person who hired them to recover this little box. It really is a little box. It's like the size of a shoebox. They're waiting around for hours. They're like, are you sure you have the right coordinates? And Peter's like, of course I have the right coordinates. So they're just waiting around for hours and hours. And then they're eaten by a giant space fish. Like,
a giant space fish
that eats their ship. And turns out the fish is being controlled by someone called the Grandmaster, who has a museum inside of this ship. He is a collector. He is not the collector, but he is a collector of alien artifacts and rare life forms from across the galaxy. One of the Guardians says, oh, you're kind of like the collector. And he's like, oh, the collector is rubbish compared to my collection. So I'm going to wait for Matthew to get back. He is looking after his kiddo, and I'm sure he'll actually want to know about the plot. I'm going to see if we have any viewers. We have one watching. Ah, hi. Hey, Matt, we have a viewer.
Evan.
Is that you?
No, I was going to ask, is it not Matthew?
Oh, I don't know, Matthew. We have one viewer. I'm wondering if it's you.
Yeah, I think it usually counts my little view over there. I've got our stream thing pulled up, but if we have a viewer, then hey there, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Sorry for our unprofessionalism.
Okay, so did you hear about the Grandmaster?
That's who is controlling the fish.
Yes, and he is a collector. He says that his collection, is way better than the collector's.
Yeah.
Okay, so he opens his box, and it turns out that the box contains, it looks like a cat's eye marble, and contained within is an entire universe. And he says, well, it's a good thing you didn't hurt this, because if you had to, crack this, it would have expanded rapidly and just destroyed and replaced your universe. It turns out, by the way, that this universe that he hired the Guardians to commandeer for him actually did belong to the collector. So, essentially, the
collector stole from the other collector?
Yes. One collector hired the Guardians to steal from another collector. And he uses that to basically blackmail or strong arm the Guardians. He's like, now I got one more mission for you. And they're like, well, we're not going to do it. Just pay us. And he's like, well, if you don't do what I want you to do, the collector is going to come after you. And he is a very wealthy, powerful, influential person. So unless you want his might coming down upon you, you're going to do one last mission for me. Gamora doesn't take too kindly. She lashes out and tries to kill him. Mm-hmm. More about that later. She's been going through some stuff. Okay. So she's kind of, stressed out. But anyway,
Let's hit more bullet points so that we can get through more content.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so the mission, he wants them to commandeer something called... It had a very... The Hujadarin Monarch Egg. Hujdahdarin, or maybe it's pronounced Muhadarin Monarch Egg. All right, he wants
creepy monarch egg.
Yes, steal that from and okay. So Gamora lashes out, tries to kill me. He's like, you know what? I'm going to forgive you. I don't even care that you just tried to kill me. Go do the mission. So last point, they're back on their ship, flying away. Gamora says, by the way, Rocket, I've noticed something. Groot, usually if he's injured, he just regenerates right away. He hasn't been doing that lately. What's going on? Rocket says, I've noticed that too. He's been kind of sick and he hasn't been regenerating like he usually does. I'm not sure what's going on either. And then it cuts to this scene. It looks like a barren, desolate wasteland world. There's a mysterious hooded figure. Mm-hmm. And he is planting, it looks like a field of baby Groots. And he says, grow big and strong, my children. So, as far as the eye can see, it's just a field of baby Groots. And to be continued.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Well, yeah, it's definitely it's setting up the team.
Yeah, and...
It's a issue 1 of all new, so, yeah.
Alright, so yeah, we got their missions, and Groot is sick, but there's going to be a million more Groots, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to be bad guys. We don't know who the hell that is. You couldn't see his face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe all of the million baby Groots will eventually come together and form a massive man Groot.
We are Groot.
We are Groot.
Okay.
There you go.
So...
Let's fly through these two.
Breakout is easy. Basically, they're...
You want to change the...
Oh, yeah. How do you do that?
Picture?
Let's see. Let me get it for you. Sorry, guys. Here we go. So that way everybody who's watching can see the cover.
Okay, yeah. By the way, Groot is not a baby in this one. You could see he looks weird.
Almost Predator-esque, you said.
Well,
that's your words.
Well, earlier the little tentacles were coming out from the side, so he looked like he had a little...
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I thought he looked like the Predator. Anyway, so this one is... I just got a few bullet points. They were captured somehow. It doesn't really say. They are being held as captives in the Collector's Museum. And he is they are the primary exhibit. And people just come from all over the galaxy to see the Guardians.
Superhero zoo.
Yeah, it's basically, yes.
And this is them breaking out?
Yeah, basically. So Rocket is hiding a little explosive in his cheek, and he blows it up, and the artificial gravity is throwing them all over the place. And, they break out. Yeah. It's kind of derpy. One thing I did want to point out...
But it's a one-shot, so
yes,
it's a quick, easy read.
Yeah. One thing, it was pretty hilarious. One thing...
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Drax is not at all a pacifist in this one. Hang on, it might be a little bit later. Okay, so... Okay, so Gamora takes a dude who looks like Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z, grabs him by the head tentacle and slams him. And Drax says, yes, I understand. Make the enemies into weapons. So he finds a guy with big giant saber teeth, takes him by the teeth, rips his teeth out of his head, and uses his teeth to stab another guy. And then he says, "Hooray for the bounties of the universe!" It's hilarious. And at the end, when they're escaped...
Draxus is usually pretty good for jokes.
Yeah, he's pretty great. Later, so when they escape, all the other specimens in the zoo escape. So there's like a big mutiny against the Collector.
Right.
So later on, Groot and Rocket and Gamora, they kind of want to go back to help the other inmates. But then they're like, nah, they're fine. They're going to just take over and probably... Anyway, and Drax is like, yes, I want to go back too. And he's like, why? He's like, I miss my teeth knives. I want them back. So it was pretty great.
Good little running joke.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Cool.
All
right.
Mother Entropy is the new spin-off for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's a miniseries.
Oh, miniseries? Is it?
There's only be like 5 or 6 issues.
Yeah. So, this was my favorite of the 3 I read this week. Okay? So, it starts off on some, looks like a green forest world. The letters are kind of, looks like ancient Greek-ish or something. Like, It's trying to make it look fancy and mystical. So, there is some grass lady. She looks like she's trying to be a personification of nature, like Gaia out of Greek mythology or something. She talks about wanting to expand to other worlds and bring other peoples and other societies into the fold out of her love for them. And out of her love for all living things, they will be assimilated and resistance is futile. Because she seems like a plant-based Borg. That's what it reminded me of.
Nature Borg.
Yes. But apparently, they're running out of worlds to bring into the fold, and they end up finding a way to go into other realities. So apparently, Mother Entropy exists in some other dimension.
And that's where the name comes from.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay. So then it cuts to another reality, and there are the Guardians, right? I should have read over this one more. Basically, they are all in debt because they either break stuff or they hurt people and have to pay for their medical bills. And Peter bought like a new sound system or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of silly.
Lots of silly shenanigans.
Yeah. So they're like on this, like, it seems like an orbiting space station, and they're not allowed to leave because, if they do, the people are going to hunt them down to collect on their debts. So, but eventually, Rocket says, I got a way how we could get rid of our debts. We just escape. And, and everybody's like all in favor and everybody raises their hand. So they're going to try to book it, right? When they're trying to book it, the police guys be like, no, we kind of knew you were going to try to leave. But we have a job for you. There is a priest called Deacon Delicario. He's this alien guy. He has a sacred artifact. It's sacred to his people. They gives them an escort. An escort mission. Just protect this guy while he brings it back. And if you do that, we're not really going to pay you, but,
We'll just forgive some debt.
Yeah, we'll pay off your debts and you'll be allowed to leave the station. And they're like, whatever, okay.
Anybody who's ever played an MMO knows that escort quests are the worst.
Oh, yeah. By the way, this relic is worth, $1 billion.
Yeah.
And they're like, by the way, don't try to steal it from him or something. Anyway, while that's going on, of course they do consider just, beating him up and taking it. So, a guy named Pip the Troll comes into the picture. Do you guys know who Pip the Troll is?
I don't.
Have you heard of him, Travis?
Does he live under a bridge?
I don't think so. He might. Anyway, I've seen this guy before when I read an issue or two of Thanos versus Hulk. He kind of looks like a goblin mixed with a freaking hobbit from Lord of the Rings or something. Anyway, his deal is he's a teleporter.
Okay.
I think it's a pretty convenient plot device to get somebody from one part of the galaxy to the other, really.
Yeah.
Like he kidnapped the Hulk or something and brought him to Thanos. Or...
Yeah.
Anyway, so he wants to, go steal this artifact. So they're trying to fly the guy home. The priest, Deacon Delicario, literally just has a heart attack and dies.
Oh.
Which is the most convenient plot device ever, right? So then the Guardians are like, well, we have this priceless artifact now. Maybe we're rich. And then Pip shows up. And they all, Pip lunges for the gem. And the Guardians are like, no, you can't have it. So everybody's lunging for it all at the same time. And in the last panel, it starts glowing. And they all disappear. And it says, to be continued.
Okay.
So, yeah, they...
Possibly sending them to wherever this Mother Entropy thing is.
I think
or
so.
Or vice versa, or something.
Yeah, so they're going to be pulled into this other reality somehow, which maybe that's how it'll be a spinoff. And
You
none
said
of it
that
takes
this
place.
one was your favorite, but honest, it sounded like you kept rolling your eyes at it because you're
That-
like, well, this is contrived. Oh, well, this is a silly device.
Plot devices are silly, but it was a fun issue.
It was fun.
And
okay.
I like...
So that's what you liked.
Yes. I like...
The concept behind the entropy.
Yeah, I like the Borg. And...
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I just like the Borg.
Hey, that's fine. That's the honest. You can have any reason to like a comic book, and you're good.
Right. So,
All right. Let's move.
So,
Let's keep rolling. I have one more book to talk about before we cover the big one this week, and that is going to my book. Real quick is going to be Black Bolt because I'm also going to cover the Inhuman stuff. So Black Bolt is a character from the Inhumans. He is the king of the Royal Inhumans. This is I think this is his first time getting a solo book. There's been a lot going on with Inhumans, though. Marvel's really, really pushing them right now because they still own the film rights to them, and they don't own the film rights to the X-Men. So they would like to see the Inhumans do really well. But what's been going on is there are the city where the Royal Inhumans lived was bombed, and it crashed down to Earth. And in some manner of all of this happening, Black Bolt, the king, blew up their supplies of Terrigen. Terrigen is what makes Inhumans. If you're a human with latent Inhuman DNA and you're exposed to Terrigen, you become an Inhuman. You gain these either crazy powers, appearances, all sorts of things, and Inhumans get pretty crazy. Black Bolt was captured by his brother before this issue, even. This is still a little backstory. He's captured by his brother. He was sort of enslaved by him for a little while. But at the beginning of this book, he's not sure how he got here. Black Bolt, that is. His actual name is Blackagar Boltion. So his name is literally Black Bolt. So Black Bolt doesn't really know how he got here, but he's in this prison. And the first few pages is him being tortured in this prison. And he slowly remembers who he is. And he slowly remembers why he's here. And he slowly remembers what happened. And what happened was this place in this prison was for his brother. But he took his brother's place. He's still not sure, about everything. There's a lot of confusion going on. So he's wandering what feels like hours and days and maybe forever for him. He's wandering, and then he comes upon all of these other prisoners. He fights one, Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man, if you know the character. He fights him, beats him up, and...
Does Black Bolt actually fight?
Yes, Black Bolt fights.
I didn't know
Doesn't
that.
he say things and it's explosions or something?
I knew that.
Yeah, so his main Inhuman ability is that his voice is atomically powerful, and this book beats it over your head, trying to tell you that he is one of the most dangerous individuals in the entire planet. And they say Earth, a place where they have lots of dangerous people, he's one of the most dangerous of them. And it constantly says that over and over and over again. While he's fighting Crusher Creel, he actually... they have a couple of people like, oh, I think the boss will like this one. Yeah, he's dangerous. Yeah, okay. So he finally does beat Creel, and he wanders on, and he bumps into this boss character. And the mask that was blocking him from using his shouting powers was damaged somehow, some way. So he rips it off, and he's ready. So he whispers the word stop, because usually when he whispers, it will send out these sonic booms that will destroy everything. If he really let loose shouted, he could blow up mountains and cities and everything. Like, his voice is that powerful. But he just whispers the word stop, but nothing happens.
What?
Nothing happens.
No.
So, the big boss guy, scary looking, grim reaper-y, crazy monster thing, tells him that he has to repent from his sins. I know you want to read this one. Tells him he has to repent for his sins, yada yada, repent for his crimes, whatever. And then he kills him. This guy kills Black Bolt. And then the next page he wakes up and he's back in his original cell where he was trapped before all the wandering. And this other little character that he bumped into somewhere in the middle tells him, oh, you died. Most people don't wake up from whenever they die. I do, though. And welcome back to the cage. Who are you? And Black Bolt actually kind of has a few lines of dialogue, which is rare for Black Bolt. He tells him, like, I'm Black Bolt, King of the Atlanteans, and or King of Atlantia. Atalan. I don't really pronounce it very well, but the Atalan is like the name of the place. I'm King of the Inhumans, and like I've got to figure out what's going on here. And that was the end. That was the end of the first issue. It was a lot of setup. They kept pushing how powerful he was, and then he finally decides to let loose with his voice, and nothing happens. So obviously the main thing that makes Black Bolt so dangerous is being subdued. I don't know, kind of interesting. Let's see. It's really funny the way that a lot of it is written, because he doesn't talk a lot. It's a lot of third-person narration. You can tell it's like what he's thinking, but he talks about himself in the third person. So, yeah. So that was that. I'm looking forward to it, one, because I want to learn more about the Inhumans, but two, because Black Bolt, and it was mysterious and fun and interesting and things.
Even the cover makes it seem mysterious.
Yeah, even the cover's really good. I like that. And the whole bars across his face, because the little antenna thing, that's part of his costume, but the stripes on his face, that's supposed to be like, because he's imprisoned.
In jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking it's hard to conceive of a prison that could really hold Black Bolt. We could just whisper the word enough and blow the Hulk off his feet.
Right. They've obviously been able to suppress his power somehow.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
But you gotta remember that somehow, like, he doesn't really remember everything that was happening, but he put himself there when it was made for his brother. But they didn't really fully explain that. So, I don't know. Alright, guys, so we've got one more book to cover before we wrap up. Are we good to cover this last one?
Maybe a little background with part 0.
Okay, you read part 0 and I didn't. So
I'll be quick.
Yeah, real quick bullet points. It was a long book.
Yes, so I guess the take home, it starts Japan 1940 something during World War II.
Yeah.
You see Captain America walk up to this ice cave and he says, Hell Hydra or something.
Okay.
So, he ends up, basically, Captain America is in Hydra. And it turns out that the Allied powers these Allied scientists have this mystical cube box thing that they use to rewrite reality. Speaking of plot devices, that's a damn good one. They tell Captain America, who is their number one fighter, to go to sleep. Basically, they submerge him in this pool, and they say, when you wake up, things are going to be very, very different, but don't forget who you are. You may think you're someone else, but always remember the might and strength and you're Hydra's greatest hero. And that's
Yeah,
kind of the take on
that was it. They turned him into a sleeper agent. Yeah.
Well, more than that, because they actually rewrite his past.
Yeah.
So I guess
The whole cosmic
the
cube
ultimate
thing.
sleeper agent,
It
yeah.
mentions that in this issue, in the little text blurb before the main story. That the cosmic cube, they use it to rewrite history and turn him into the Ultra Hydra sleeper agent. Blah blah blah.
So wait, well, the one thing though that I was wondering, so is he actually Hydra and the Allied scientists use it to make it so where he wasn't Hydra, or he was never Hydra, but they use it to make it so where he was Hydra?
What this made it seem like, and I'm not sure, none of us are really sure, and this is the whole idea behind this project, is so that we become more familiar with this stuff. Is what it seems like is he was what it seems like is that he's always been this sleeper agent because the cosmic cube said so. And now with the wonky way timelines work is that doesn't mean that the original timeline wasn't without this whole Hydra dealio, but
Exactly.
but somebody went back in time in this weird time construct and they made the cosmic cube rewrite him so that he is a Hydra sleeper agent.
Well, no, because the Allies had the time cube, so why would the Allies make him a sleeper agent?
I don't know, but that's what this says. That I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
This
so
said that it
seemed like
turned him into that. So
Because
That's a good question.
The allies with it were obviously also sleeper
yeah,
agents.
maybe corrupt people within the Ally organization.
Maybe they were Hydra.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole idea of Hydra is that they're everywhere.
Right.
They're all secretive, and you chop off one head and two more come back.
Right. Yeah, I know,
My
right?
cat belongs to Hydra.
So, like, I was thinking maybe they're trying to, like, almost sort of, like, retcon, 50 or 60 years of Captain America.
I feel like
he
at
was
the
a
end
sleeper
of
agent the whole time.
I feel like at the end of it, or maybe a year from now, or something like that, they'll find a way to make Steve Rogers. Oh yeah, no, he's good. He's never been. But like that goes on to show in this book. I mean, this book covers a lot. It jumps from topic to topic to topic. But in this book, Captain America still seems like the good, proud guy that he's always been.
Yeah, I know.
But he just happens to be working for Hydra this time instead of happening to be working for the Avengers in the U.S. in the good old-fashioned American way. So it's like they haven't changed his character at all.
Yeah,
he's still the
Steve
same
Rogers.
guy. He just happens to work for Hydra this time.
There you go. Thank you, bud.
He's a little bit more Machiavellian, I guess, willing to sacrifice the Inhumans out in outer space.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't want to betray his friends. He's still in love with the same girl. He still kind of has a set of Cap morals.
Yeah.
But
Hang on, guys.
more fucked
You
up.
guys keep talking. I'll be right back.
Sure thing. So yeah, there. He's having to make some hard decisions. The other bits of the book, not necessarily only talking about Cap, but I think the champions are the heroes. They find somebody who Rick Jones had given this USB drive with all the information they need to incriminate Hydra. And the champions bring him back, and they're in hiding, and they're ready to, out everything bad, and they think Captain America's turned on them and everything. And then Rick Jones himself, he, at the very end of the book, just to jump to it, he is ready to get shut down with the firing squad. Travis, to repeat real quick, the guy, Rick Jones, he's a supporting character in a lot of things. He's ready to get shut down by a firing squad at the end of the book. And he shouts, Avengers, assemble. And it seems like the Avengers are coming to help him. Not Captain America But let's see. Let's actually look at the panel real fast.
He gets dealt with, man. He gets
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, but
I think he just wanted to have some fancy sounding last words.
But what I was talking about, I'm pointing at the wrong thing, was this middle panel right here, where it seems like the champions are headed out to help. But it's really unclear right now because we don't have all the background information. I'm definitely going to look into more of the background information.
I think there's more Road to Secret Empire comics, like the most recent.
There are a
Captain
lot
America's.
of one-shots in the middle of Secret Empire that are going to be Road 2 and all those kind of things. Yeah.
So
This is going to be a good story. I feel it. It's like some of the big summer event blockbusters are kind of misses.
Oh, yeah.
But I like this one so far.
the one thing I don't like about it, so Captain America, before he comes out as S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, sorry, as a Hydra agent, he is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point. Then everything starts to go wrong, like there's an alien invasion, bad guys are trying to take over New York City, just everything, a perfect storm of things that is too much for all those superheroes of Earth to handle. So they say, emergency measures, you're the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., now you're basically the president of the world. He's like, okay, Hell Hydra. And then Earth, this is what I didn't like, Earth then rapidly devolves into like a 1984 dystopian with society, which is fine, but they just really push it hard. Oh,
Yeah,
Captain, we put fluoride in all the water, and now we're working on chemtrails. And by the way, the government censors, took this off the news.
Yeah, there's a scene in there where Hydra and all the main guys you would think of, Armanzola and Zemo, they all meet and they're talking about all their business agenda for all the crazy Hydra stuff that they're doing. So
And like all the kids in school.
It's hard to believe. Yeah, the first
Hell
couple
Hydra.
pages are kids in school, like Hell Hydra.
So that's a little over the top, I think.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
all
still
it
gonna be
feels
a
like
good
it all
story.
happened very fast, but sometimes you just gotta roll with it so that it
gotta
can
dive
tell
in
a
the
story.
story.
Yeah.
You know what this vaguely reminds me of?
What's that?
Do you guys ever read, I think it was called Red Dawn. It
I
was a
just
DC
lipped
story
Red
arc.
Dawn. I just lipped it, but I didn't want to say it out loud in case I looked silly.
Yeah.
I didn't read it, but I saw the old movie, yeah.
Yeah. Very 1984 there. I
no.
like that
It's a
comparison.
It's a DC story arc.
Really?
Yeah, it's not actually called Red Dawn. It's called something like that.
Oh,
Basically,
it's funny that you were thinking. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know, right?
the whole hook is that Superman lands
In USSR.
Moscow instead of
Red
Kansas.
Sun. Red Sun.
Red Sun, that's what it's called. Yes, it's called Red Sun, and he lands in Moscow instead of Kansas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Smallville, Kansas. He lands out like in Moscow or something, and he's raised in Soviet Russia. And,
So he's brought up as a Soviet. Yeah.
and he is the driving force behind the reason the entire world is now communist. Because if you're not a communist,
There's so much
Superman will hear you and melt you with his heat vision from across the planet.
I guess so, huh?
Yeah. Whenever-
And the regular DC superheroes, Batman and them, they're like an underground resistance and stuff. It's weird.
Yeah.
I know like this much about it, but that just reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what if Captain America was Hydra? I mean,
What if he is?
Well, I mean,
what do you
yeah,
mean? What if?
he is. Yeah, either he was the whole time and history was rewritten, or history was written. So whatever. It's
Something
a weird
like that.
plot. It's a weird plot device.
I'm sure they'll flesh it out more, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've gone past the time that we thought we would.
All right.
Uh,
So any like
much.
connections or conclusions or?
Yeah.
I think the Guardians showed up in this too, didn't they? Yeah, they did, didn't they? To show up how. Yeah, look, Rocket's on the cover.
Oh, the cover.
Rocket
The
was
cover.
on the cover. Spider-Man was. It looked like Old Man Logan, I think.
Yeah, the cover for Secret Empire had like all the characters from around the universe, even like Mighty Thor, Jane Foster Thor, who it wasn't in the book at all.
Weird.
But
It's probably just foreshadowing that she'll be there.
oh
She
yeah,
will.
it's a huge crossover event. Everybody's gonna be there, so yeah. But yeah, we got through it, guys.
Wait, no, that's backwards. I'm supposed to point this way.
Yeah, look
Tell
right
about
there.
that.
So I think I'm definitely gonna try Jean Grey and maybe Black Bolt.
Well, good. I'm glad that I whatever I said, even though I was real quick about it, at least
Yeah.
it piqued your curiosity.
If I have time for Black Bolt.
Yeah, right.
I'm already reading a lot of comics.
It's a matter of just getting to it all,
Yeah.
and that's part of the idea, is so that you don't necessarily have to read it all, but maybe this will turn you on to other things too.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and read different ones and more and stuff, but we'll get around to it.
Darth Vader comes out soon, right? I might pick up Darth Vader.
Yeah. We'll
I'm really interested. Like, is that just a new story arc for
I don't
Vader,
know.
or are they like reprinting the same old one?
It says it's his quote first mission. I don't know.
yeah, I saw one because
I'm hoping
all comic
that-
books have a little ad in the back of
I
them.
just started reading this in my spare time.
Is that Darth? Which one is that? The old Darth Vader?
Yeah, that's
This is the
the
older Vader.
When-
Yeah, this is issue 1. You can see I have a little bookmark in it up here.
Yeah.
I started to read this because
Because you're a nerd.
partially. No, the real beginning was my wife and I, we just got married in Disney World in January, and while we were on our honeymoon in Disney World, I saw a bunch of comics because it's like, oh yeah, that's right, Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel now, so why not?
yeah.
And I thought to myself, I ought to pick some of these up. So I bought the first one. It was brand new at the time. It was called Dr. Aphra. It was about basically female Han Solo. That's it.
Yeah.
She's basically female Han Solo. She's like the scoundrel person who goes about gallivanting and stealing and shooting guns and stuff.
Yes.
And then I found out later that she comes from this story arc. So I started to read Darth Vader.
Cool.
Because I think she's really cool.
I'm not reading any of Marvel's other stuff right now. I read a couple of other things like Dynamite's James Bond stuff and Boom's Power Rangers, but I'm not reading any other Marvel stuff. I know both of y'all are reading some Star Wars, so kudos.
I'm reading Poe Dameron and Dr. Aphra, of course.
All I'm doing is Maul just because he's cool.
Yeah, I love Maul.
Yeah, I'm reading Maul as well.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 Star Warses I'm reading, other than the back logos.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. We might be able to fit them into this eventually, especially if we get more people and if we get better at streamlining and stuff.
I know, right? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Or maybe we can do that a separate night once, I don't know. We'll just catch up on a whole year's worth of Star Wars junk. Alrighty, well, real quick, let's do some stuff here. If you love comics and you want to get into this kind of stuff, then go for it. Your local comic book shop is the best place to go because they care about your comics. They can answer a lot of the questions that we might not know the answers to, or maybe if we say something and don't answer your question, you can always leave comments. I'll try to check them. But your local comic book store can answer a lot of those. There are places that don't have local comic stores, but Marvel is really great about publishing every single one of their comic books online. The top little logo, which is right here in my little lineup that I've got, there's an app that you can download, or you can just go to their website, marvel.com, and you can buy literally every one of their books the day it comes out. So all of these that we covered today came out this past Wednesday. Every Wednesday is comic book day. Every single one of them was on their app and their website and everything. Right under that, right here, I have Marvel Unlimited's logo. Marvel Unlimited is a subscription service that you can go read backlogs. So if you want to, I know I mentioned the whole Jean Grey saga. It's complicated. Madeline Pryor's complicated. That's a whole lot of stuff to read. You pay like $10 a month and you can get their entire backlog.
It's like literally everything older than a week, like every backlog.
It's not everything older than a week. It's like 6 months back.
Oh, okay.
But that's
That's
still
not
a
bad.
whole lot of material.
Yeah, it's probably got something to do with like their trade paperback release dates.
That's
like,
true.
If they release a trade paperback, that's
Yeah.
probably when it shows up.
Yep.
That would be my guess.
Something like that.
Makes
But
sense.
and then my final logo there, Travis, point at that for me. It is going to be the Free Comic Book Day. That's tomorrow. I hope that somebody watches this. I might post a link to this on my Facebook, and you
Dude,
guys
I'll
are
share
free
it.
to do the same thing. Free Comic Book Day is tomorrow. Go to your local comic book shop and pick up some free books. Sometimes they're just samples. Sometimes they're full books. But
I know I want to get the Zelda one.
yeah, there's a Zelda free comic book. So
There's a
even
Doctor Who one, isn't there?
I think they're
maybe
doing Doctor Who.
they do so much, and most comic book stores are part of this. They do this every of the first Saturdays in May every year.
And October, right?
And they do another one in October that's called like Halloween Fest, but this is the middle of the year one.
Yeah.
Yep.
A week and a day before Mother's Day.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's always 8 days before Mother's Day.
Really?
Yeah, because Mother's Day is always the second Sunday,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is always the first Saturday.
I didn't know that.
That's a reminder to go and buy your mom something.
I know, right?
There you go.
Buy, mom
Buy yourself a
books,
comic book and buy your mom a gift.
Or just give your mom the free comic book.
Give your mom a free comic book, or buy her a nice comic book. Hey, there's Miss Marvel. That's a good one.
What? Yeah, there's also Deadpool.
Deadpool's good for moms.
Dude, Deadpool's good for everyone.
Yeah.
My mom would love Deadpool.
All right.
Yes, I think your mom would love
Yeah,
that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
Your mother would like Deadpool.
literally.
Alrighty, guys. Y'all want to call it there?
Yeah,
Y'all have
I'm
anything else to
probably already
say?
in trouble.
Yeah, right. Okay. We have no idea when we're going to put out a new episode, but we are going to do our absolute best to get one out sometime after next Wednesday. Because, like I said, every Wednesday is Comic Book Day. Get your new stuff. We're going to get our new stuff. We're going to read along. And, yeah,
Yeah, you get your wives and my girlfriend in on it too, man.
maybe one day, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well,
Next week, there's a Doctor Strange book, so Kelly will be here with us.
good. Even
she
if
plans
she's...
on reading Doctor Strange.
Yeah, even if she's just here to talk about it and then leave, she can always watch the episode later. We need more views.
I know, right? We
Yeah.
get 2 views.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Jeez.
Well, let's cut it there, boys.
Sounds good.
Yep. Thank you for joining.